Hey, how's it going? This is Harold. As a warm-up for my channel, I figured I would go through some of the applications I built and released in 2025. So it'll be a pretty short video for the most part, maybe. But yeah, we'll briefly go through these things. The first one on the list is ReliableCode.ai. I created this one for somewhat of a solution for myself, but also for people out there. As developers and engineers, it could be really difficult to create your tests initially. And so I kind of wanted to make some software that would allow someone to put some code in. Maybe eventually I'll add another feature where like you can just kind of type and say what you want, and then it'll actually generate a test for you. The interface just kind of looks like this. I have a couple of coming soon features here. One of the main feature here is just going into unit tests, and it's basically just pure unit tests. You can grab the original code that you wrote. So this isn't like pushing people towards TDD, unfortunately, which is what some of the other features that I was working on is for. If I get demand for this product, I will go and definitely do the TDD stuff, but this is just purely I have some code and I want to get a test written for it. And so you put your code in here, and then basically you'll get a generate button. And yeah, after you hit your generate test button, you'll generate some test code. Another cool feature that was fun to work on was you can select your language. I primarily use Swift. I haven't used Objective-C or C++ in a while, but I went through it was pretty fun testing these. Like, I guess each programming language has sort of their own like testing suite or testing frameworks that you would use to kind of help you kind of shortcut writing your reliable code and test. So, but yeah, this was a really fun project. Like I created dashboards in here and stuff like that. This was the first project that I like really got to work on token usage and whatnot, because it's using AI in the background in order to take those tests and try to like convert them into or take that code and convert it into test. So yeah, really, really cool project. It was fun. I have a little support page here. Accounts. This is kind of the pricing structure that I went with. This is like just to make sure that I stay profitable. If someone goes in and like signs up, they'll get like a free, credits. I have like protection in here so that people can't spam accounts. It was a really interesting project. If there's enough demand, I can go through the code, what it took to do that, what assistance I got with AI. Especially what's really interesting about these web application projects that I made. Some of these apps I'm showing you that I built last year are web-based, and some of them are iOS-based. And iOS is like my background. But with the power of AI, obviously, I was able to dip my toes into other languages, and I got to learn a lot about how those languages work. So I kind of like fast-tracked my ability to like read that code and like try to structure it, learn some good ways to structure it, and what kinds of questions I could ask to AI. And I'll go over those things in the future. Yeah, so that was ReliableCode.ai. That was a fun one. I've made like, I don't know, maybe like $60 off of this app. Not very much. But if for whatever reason, I decided to do some extra marketing on this and try to push it through. If I get enough demand, then I will build some really cool features here. There's some really cool stuff on the horizon. The next app that I worked on, that I built, these are apps, by the way, that I got on the whiteboard and like decided like I wanted to make these things because it was really just like because I wanted to solve a problem that either I had or something I had heard someone else had gone through. And so this was like very much an experimental like year for me, like building apps. But anyway, I digress. PayflowGen.ai. This is a really cool one because basically I was really frustrated with like setting up payment systems, and it was really challenging to get payments set up in that previous app, Reliable Code. And so in that previous application, I had to hire someone on Fiverr to like go in and like look at how I was doing things and like give me some advice and stuff like that. I had to do a bunch of research. I had to like read up on some stuff. It wasn't something that was very easy, at least for me, to just like let AI do it, especially because I really wanted to do very specific things with my payment system. So out of that frustration, I created PayflowGen.ai, which is an application that you can just come in here and say, I want to, you could be as specific as you want, honestly. You could like give us some code, you can do whatever. If you're like, I want to create a payment system, maybe like a subscription payment system for a, I don't know, a dating app, whatever, called Flame.ai or something. I don't know. Payments or subscription will be $30 a month, and a pro subscription for 60, 70 bucks a month. And so yeah, I would hit enter. I was just like a quick demo. We got a little error here. It's probably because this is a test account, and I don't think I have tests up at the moment, because I think it's just for production use. So like basically a user would be able to go over here and like buy credits, things like that. And yeah, basically super simple app. Once it's done, like I can actually go to my history here. It would actually spit out, not storing it, maybe it's not. Yeah. It would actually like spit out the actual like code and files that you need to put into your project in order to, get your payment system up and running. So very cool. I did a very terrible job at this like light and dark mode. Yet another very experimental project. How much did I make off of this project? A whopping, $10? $10 or something like that. Okay, here's the project that I probably put the most energy into last year. I'll be coming back around to this one for sure, because this is a product that I really truly did build for myself, and I want to use it alongside another. I started using it kind of like in a meta sense, but I want to use it alongside other apps that I build on this channel, or go back and finish on this channel as well. But basically, essentially, this application is a AI marketing app that has a browser in it. And essentially, like I have a demo video up, so I won't go too far in, but the thing about it is, instead of like sitting there and like scrolling through conversations on like Reddit and X, this app is meant to do the scrolling and finding the conversations for you, so that you can organically like mention your product. So up front, you give this app information about your product, and then it will just start scraping like you can ask it questions in the chat and it'll just like start doing automation, like scraping through Reddit, finding conversation, recommending something to say in those conversations. You know, you can tell it to like stuff and all kinds of, it's a lot. And then you can go back and like review context. It only stays there for a certain period of time just due to like privacy. But yeah, like it's an incredible like app. For this application for Flexer, like I put a lot of work into like the UI for like the landing page, doing the demo. If you just have questions on like anything, like the process of going through these things, feel free to like ask in the comments. But I really wanted to make sure that people like really got a strong understanding, like they could go through and like read up on these things. Here's the plans. So I did sort of like a beta launch or like open beta launch, I guess you could say. So users can sign up and just they get this like discounted price, because this won't be the price during it's such an expensive like tool, and it takes a lot of tokens to be able to do what the app allows you to do. So yeah, the pricing will change, but these people will be grandfathered in. They'll like stay in. Yeah, I really played around with the UI quite a bit. I put like a Q&A section here. That was really cool. Just like email info. This is really great. Another cool thing about this was my first like product where I actually created a user dashboard for the user. Like the user has the ability to go in and like, well, this is actually the admin dashboard, but I mean, switch over to user dashboard. So a normal user would see this when they log in, after they've like purchased an account, and they would be able to go in and like see their access key, and they can download the app. If they need to refresh and generate a new key, they can do it there. This was really complex. In the community updates, I can like send updates here. Like this is a very fun exercise, honestly, like to build this type of tool. But you know, here I can say, oh, there's a bug, you know, about saving conversations, like, or you know, there's this thing I'm working on, it's high priority. Down here, there's guides. The download here, this was really fun to work on, just like this cool download screen here where you download a build. It is only for Mac, but you know, there's a billing section here as well, you know, where you can, you know, switch over to annual or whatever and get like discounts and stuff. Also, I gave people the ability to purchase credits as well, which is pretty fun. Yeah, this was just like overall like a really fun project to make. A lot of moving parts. It took months to get this all like up and running. And yes, I've only made a whopping like $200 off of this product, but you know, like it's taught me a lot. And I think when I come back around to this, there's just so much set up here that like it's gonna make it easy to like get it off the ground. I feel like there still isn't a product that like does this exact thing, this problem that like I was trying to solve here. There are like automated browsers out there, but there's not like automated marketing. And as an engineer, like, or you know, someone who's like not into marketing, I really wanted to try to build a really cool tool that like doesn't ruin the internet, you know, with like a bot, you know, necessarily, but something that would, you know, take away that time sucker of like scrolling. Because before this, I was actually trying to like promote a product, and I would go on Twitter or go on Reddit, and it would take hours to like find conversations that are relevant and it makes sense for me to reply, especially on Reddit. Like on Reddit, people don't want like just spam. Like people don't want people like just promoting products randomly. they're more into like being organically helpful. So anyway, that was probably the biggest one on here, Flexer.ai. So I'll definitely be coming back around to that. Then the next app that I built and released was, well, I built this one actually before Flexer. This was because at work, I really wanted to start challenging myself to get things done within a certain amount of time. So I'd make these micro tasks, and it's basically time boxing, right? But I call it EngineerBox because there are features that I think eventually I would like to add to this. It's a completely free app. There is like a tip button in here because it did take some work to build it. This might be the last app. Actually, no, that's not true. This one and the next one are probably, oh no. So the others, I actually used AI like quite a bit, like with my own expertise and skills as a, programmer. But this one and the others I'm about to show you were written all from scratch, like, hours of just kind of sitting there testing and like coming up with an MVP as well. And I actually did come up with the MVPs myself for the other products, but I at least got AI's help with coming up with a product requirement document and things like that, user stories and stuff like that for the other apps. This, I had to do it all on my own. It's released and it does pretty well. I think it got like a few bucks from the tips, but it was meant to be a free app for engineers out there who like need a little time boxing app. It also works on iPad and Mac OS. I think this might have been my first like cross-platform Apple app that I've created, but yeah. Anyway, that was a fun one. EngineerBox. Vault Hub. This was a really tough one. This was like, I had a vision with my friend. He came up with the idea, and I was like, yeah, like how about we work on it together? And so I used it as like a teaching opportunity to like help him continue to learn and like upgrade his skills. And he did super well with like the login screen and stuff like that. And me, it was like a nice practice of just like coming up with an idea, together with him, and then really like honing in on like what the MVP for that was and like what should be the releasable product. This is probably one of the most professional products I made other than the Flexer app, where I hired someone to go out and make these like screenshots and stuff like that for the App Store. I make like $10 a month from this app. There are some subscribers. This is a cool app because with the free version you have one vault, which is basically just this guy here, and you can password protect it. Actually, you can't password protect it on, can you? Nah, I forget. But basically you have one vault. You go in and you can add things like, anything like notes, cards and things like that you don't want like associated with anything else. And you can save them, and it saves on your device. And then for the paid version, you get like cross-platform kind of like experience. Like it's saved, so if something happens to your phone, like those things that you had saved are saved in our backend server and stuff, like an encryption. So yeah, like this is a really cool one. There's like some basic colored themes that I played around with the UI where like you could change it from blue, like instead of this blue tone to something else. And then also I have some basic scores on like, how strong are your passwords? Like there's a screen there. So yeah, that was a really fun one. Like I said, probably aside from the Flexer app, my most professional application, like from launch and everything. I even like did a, what do you call it? I even got like a professional video made and everything like that for it, like on Fiverr. So that was fun. Last but not least was definitely the funnest project I worked on, which was my game Risk Nebula. It's an Apple Watch game, and it is probably the most difficult and most detailed Apple Watch game out there. I think. I think obviously it's not for everyone because of how difficult it is. Like, you literally need to like play like, you know, scrolling up and down on your watch and then like tapping at the right time. And there's swiping. When I created this game originally, this was at the time where, so this game wasn't created last year. I updated it last year, or yeah, I updated this one last year. I updated Vault Hub last year as well. That's why I included these. They were actually built at the end of 2024. This one was built 2023, I want to say, and then it got taken down just because like I needed to like agree to some new like terms or something like that. And then finally I upgraded it and pushed it back up to the store. Over this game's lifetime, I've made about $1,000 off of this game. Really cool. It was just like a sense of pride. Like, I want to continue making games within this like universe. It's like Nebula Fighters. I have a different channel for that that'll be kickstarting, but I'll probably show like dev vlogs of building those games on this channel every now and then. But this one is just really fun. There's no like microtransactions or anything. It's just a, you know, one-time payment. It's expensive for an Apple Watch game, but it's a long game. I think you could spend 10 hours plus like collecting all the ships. There's like a ton of ships. There's like a little like semi-trailer there. You know, you can go on adventures, choose a different star system. That's the different colored ships you'll find. Basically every star system has like these branching paths. It was kind of inspired by like Star Fox, like old school Star Fox. These are a lot of the different ships. There's even more than this. There's exotic ships. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I like learned a lot during this one too. Games, when you're creating games, like I think it's really fun because it kind of pushes you. You're making like several applications in one. So, you know, I think it was probably one of the funnest things to work on as like an engineer. But anyway, those are the main things that I created and launched and updated in 2025. I hope this was enjoyable, educational. This is kind of a warm up to this channel because I'll be going in depth with like creating new products from A to Z, sharing, you know, the process, you know, what things you want to prep for and everything like that. And, you know, also sharing how I'm taking products that, you know, I started and never like got to production, what I'm doing with those to like actually turn the ship around and like get it ready for launch and like launch the product. So if that kind of thing interests you, then subscribe, like. I doubt anyone's discovered my channel at this point yet, but you know, maybe for some of those people out there who have, look forward to that. Anyway, it was awesome. Take care. We're going.